It's that time of year again. Spring break is over and summer is oh so close. Every year at this time, something magical takes place that practically means the year is over. That's right, it's time for course evaluations. But wait! Do you know that there's a right way and a wrong way to fill out your teacher evaluations? Well, it's simple really, but first, let's hear more about the purpose of teacher evaluations from Mrs. Singer.
Oh, hello there! Did you know that course evaluations are very important? Very important. Every evaluation is read closely by at least 4 people: the teacher, the department chair, me, and Sister Celeste. Your feedback and comments about a teacher and his or her class are very important to us as an institution. They help us to improve the course, the department, and our jobs as educators. Your feedback is useful and necessary and valued. And that's why it's so vital that you take the time to fill out your evaluations in the proper way. So what is the proper way, you ask? Well, all you need is to look to our patroness, St. Catherine of Siena, and ask, what would St. Catherine of Siena do?
St. Catherine of Siena, our patroness, was a woman who always spoke the truth. Even when what she had to say wasn't necessarily popular, she knew she had a duty to God, to her community, and to herself to always speak with honesty. Now that doesn't mean St. Catherine went around the streets of Siena telling people their breath was bad or that she didn't like what they were wearing, even if those things were true. She never misinterpreted the need for truth as an excuse to hurt others unnecessarily. Instead, she spoke the truth with kindness and integrity, understanding that speaking the truth was to be used for the pursuit of the greater good. Today we call this constructive criticism, critiques aimed at improving a situation and never meant to put others down or to hurt them. So, we can look at St. Catherine as a model on how to provide feedback to our teachers and to FSHA as a whole. All we have to remember is, what would St. Catherine of Siena do?
Here are 2 students filling out their evaluations now. Let's see what they're saying about their teacher, Mr. Belding. Susie here really liked Mr. Belding. When asked her thoughts about the class, she writes,
Mr. Belding is awesome.
Wow, Susie, seems like you really liked your teacher, but let's see what happens with that kind of feedback. When Mrs. Singer reads a comment like this, it lets her know that the student liked the teacher, but it isn't much more helpful than that.
How am I supposed to know what made Mr. Belding so awesome? Is it his feedback on essays? His individualized attention to students? His taste in clothing? Or the way that he could make even boring lecture topics fun by setting them to music? I really wish I knew why the student liked him so much. I could tell him just to keep doing that. Do what you're doing. Maybe get him to help other teachers be just as awesome. What a shame. I'll never know.
Let's check back in with Susie and see what she would write if she remembered to ask, what would St. Catherine of Siena do? St. Catherine always spoke the truth in the pursuit of veritas. When she spoke in detail and was sure to highlight the reasons why she was arguing one way or another. She was very descriptive. So Susie, what would St. Catherine of Siena do?
Mr. Belding was an amazing teacher. He always helped me during enrichment. His tests were hard, but they really helped me learn, and I felt like I could apply what I learned in real life.
Way to go, Susie. That sounds like an excellent comment. Let's see what Mrs. Singer thinks.
Wow, Mr. Belding is doing a really good job. I'm going to encourage him to keep doing these great things in class. You know, Mrs. Foster's been trying to make her classes more engaging. I'm going to suggest that she work with Mr. Belding to make her lectures and class activities more interesting.
Nice work, Susie. Your comments will really help to make FSHA a better place. This is Cheryl. Cheryl wasn't as big a fan of Mr. Belding as Susie was. Let's see what she writes in her evaluation when asked what she thought about the class.
This class sucked. The teacher was awful.
Wow, Cheryl, it sounds like you didn't like the class much. Let's see what Mrs. Singer can do with that information.
I really wish she would have given me more information. I really want this teacher to improve and make his class better for his students. I'm certainly not going to punish or even fire Mr. Belding based on this one student's comment, but I really need more information.
Now, Cheryl, remember to tell the truth with honesty, kindness, and the hope of making things better, just like St. Catherine. Now, how can we turn your critique of Mr. Belding's class into something more constructive? Can you be more specific about your frustrations so that other students won't have to experience the same thing?
While Mr. Belding was a nice person, he kind of confused us with his lectures. They were really long and they went on forever, and it was kind of boring for the students and no one really knew what was going on. Oh, and also with his grading, we didn't really understand it, so we didn't know why we got questions wrong and things like that. So I feel like if we had a rubric, it would really make the class better. And so other students wouldn't have to worry about that.
Much better, Cheryl. Let's see what Mrs. Singer thinks.
You see, this comment's really helpful. This will allow me to have a better idea of some of the issues in the classroom and things that I might not see when I go in to visit. Furthermore, it'll help me to help Mr. Belding address these issues and become a better teacher. Thanks to Cheryl's comments, other students will be happier and Mr. Belding's course will improve.
So remember, when filling out student evaluations, stop and ask, what would St. Catherine of Siena do? Remember to be honest and truthful in your responses, and know that your comments are being used to make the teacher, the class, and FSHA as a whole an even better place. While the surveys are anonymous, never use that as an excuse to say mean or hurtful things about a teacher or a class. Chances are your comments will be taken less seriously and dismissed as a frustrated student blowing off steam. Instead, try to use constructive criticism. Whether you're happy or upset with the teacher, supply them with feedback that is meaningful and can be used by the administration and faculty to make the student experience better. Lastly, if you have an issue with a teacher or a class, don't wait until student evaluations to say something about it. Remember, St. Catherine confronted her issues head on and was never afraid to speak her mind in a respectful way. If you have an issue, be sure to talk to their teacher, their department chair, or to Mrs. Singer while something can still be done.
All right, girls, now that you know how to properly fill out a student evaluation, we'll let you get back to work. Just remember to always ask yourself, what would St. Catherine of Siena do?